Hey, welcome back to EasedEdge. We're going to talk right now about custom fields. This is probably one of the areas that people have the most questions on because it can be approached from a lot of different angles. And we're going to start out by showing you, first of all, how to do it, but then go into examples of why it's useful, what type of custom fields to create. And again, another one of these scenarios where you're going to figure out as you use the software and just as you nail down your flow, you're going to figure out what custom fields you need. So don't feel like in this setup process that you could really mess this up or that you're missing custom fields, because again, this is something that you're going to kind of set up as you go, as you figure out what you need. What custom fields are basically used for is reporting and organization. I'm going to hop over to the software that we use every day, the software for our company, and I'm going to show you some examples of the custom fields that we have for our company. Where these custom fields show up is when you make a new customer, these fields are going to show up for your salesperson to fill out as a part of creating that customer file. Again, here are the examples. We've got customer type as a custom field, and that's where you can select, whether it's let's just look at it in here. Is it direct to homeowner? Is it a cabinet maker, builder, remodeler, showroom? All the different places, different people that we work for. You can set up in a custom field whether it's required that it's filled out or whether it's optional. And then there's just a lot of stuff in here. We'll go over it all. I want to just finish out showing you some of these examples. Is it a special order? We have this custom field right here. Is Richard killing it? This is to determine if Rich is at the top of his game. Kind of really just a humorous custom field that he's got to fill out whenever he makes a new job. He's got to select yes or no. Gives us something to laugh about. Who is the salesperson? That's a custom field. Which location? What was the lead source? This is a great example of one. Where did the job come from? Did it come from your Google AdWords, from your website, from a home show, a cold call? This is all stuff you want to track because as you get down the road, a couple years down the road, you're going to want to be able to go back and pull a report and see where most of your jobs come from. That way you can decide, where is my advertising dollars best spent? Where do we need to spend most of our efforts? And where are our efforts kind of useless? Let's say I don't get any leads or any jobs from the home shows at the end of the day. I want to know that because that's going to help me determine whether or not I'm going to do them again next year. So let's hop back into the demo software. And we're in custom fields right now. To set up a custom field, let's just set one up. Let's do salesperson. I think we already have one in here, but we're just going to do it again. So this is a custom field called salesperson. Basically, in the description, we'd put in here, who is the salesperson for this job? Are we going to record it to the customer or the reseller, or the customer and the reseller? This is important. This is jumping the gun a little bit. When you set up customers, you're either going to be working directly with a customer or you're going to be working with a customer through another reseller. Maybe it's a contractor, a cabinet shop, big box store. And you're going to determine right here, where do you want this custom field recorded to? And pretty straightforward. Usually a lot of these custom fields, we record it per customer. You'll know when you set it up when to deviate from that and assign it to the reseller or the customer and reseller. And we'll probably get into that in another video as we start creating customers and resellers. In this case, we're going to record this custom field to the customer, and we're going to select how we're going to assign the data. We're going to make this one a select. And so that means when this custom field pops up, instead of just filling in a text box, it's going to give them options. It's going to give your salespeople options to select from. So display, am I going to show this conditionally based on another custom field that gets filled out? No, in this case, I'm going to always show it. And the options are Bob. I'm going to make another option right here with a little plus sign. Mary Jane. who are my different salespeople? Robert, and let's say the last one is Tim. So now I'm going to determine, is this custom field required? In this case, because I have to know the salesperson per customer, I'm going to say yes, this is required and it is active. So I just created a custom field. I'm going to save that. And I'm going to show you an example when I go and create a new customer from this little plus sign at the top. That custom field, salesperson, is going to show up right here on the right. Obviously, I've got two of them now because I just created it again. But you can also see, here's the one we created. It pulls over those options, Bob, Mary Jane, Robert, Tim. And for this job, we're going to select Bob. Here's the other custom fields we have set up in this demo software. Customer type. Let's say this customer is a builder. Is it a callback? This is a great field to track which jobs, because typically what will happen is you'll do a job, you'll close out the file, maybe a year later their scene pops, they call back, and you create basically a new customer to keep it organized, and then you select, is it a callback? Yes. And then you can report on your callbacks and how many callbacks you get. Type of job, residential, class, this, let's call this retail, salesperson again, Andrew Jackson, sales location, Timbuktu, perfect. And what was the lead source? We're going to call this one a referral. Now I just filled out my custom fields for this particular job, and then I save the customer, and I've got all those custom fields on the back end, and I can report on those. Let's see. Perfect. Here, I've got to report sales by lead source. Now it's pulling over how many sales I have per lead source based on those custom fields. So 13 of these jobs we put in that it came from a home show. So you see an example here where I can report on those custom fields. Again, typically with custom fields, you're going to set up more as you use the software more and as you figure out what information you want to report on. That's no problem. You want to typically start out with some basic stuff like salesperson, type of job, sales location if you have multiple locations. Usually most of our people will start out with 4 or 5 custom fields and then they'll add as they go.